This program contains coarse language and discusses mature themes. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
You hadn't watched porn until your 30s?
Yeah.
Okay, what was the porn?
Oh my, I don't even know. I think it was like, I watched it with my partner because he was like, what the f-? Like, how have you not watched porn? So I think, and he likes very like romantic, like amateur, like he does, like he likes all sorts of stuff, but he does like one-on-one or like, so we watched a lot of like one-on-one or like threesomes that were more like amateur and like just regular couples at first. Because my main issue and the thing that I was scared of was like, I didn't want to accidentally watch unethical porn. And so we wanted to watch it from places where we knew it was coming right from the creator. So a lot of it was like kind of amateur.
That's the way to start it.
Yeah, it was really good. I liked it a lot. And I was like, oh boy.
Do you watch it more often now, or?
All the time, like every day. Like I'm a porn addict. Like I'm a disgusting human being. I'm a degenerate. Like all I do is like watch porn, masturbate, talk about sex, and then like I have to shut that off when my kids come home from school. So
yeah, I usually tell people I watch more porn than the average teenage boy. So
I think I do too. Like every day, for sure. I watch a lot of it.
Well, welcome back to the Ugly Couch Podcast. I'm your host, Darth Ginger, and here we've got the. I could say your username, right? It's that bitch ThatBitchLoWils.
Woo! Hi guys. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. I was so surprised when you like replied to my message because you have like quite a like beautiful big profile. Like
you know what, I've never gotten an offer like that, and I was really excited for it. It's something that I've been like interested in doing for a while, and I just don't know anybody really who does it very well or like had an opportunity. So I was stoked. Yeah.
The couch, we try and keep it as chill as possible, but I mean the fact that we already talked about porn within the first 5 minutes is great. This is why it's the Ugly Couch, because it's the dirtiest place in the whole world, but we like to keep it safe and clean in some places.
Yeah.
I think there's one cushion that hasn't been touched, but that's fine. I'll get to it.
Do I have to watch my language on here?
No.
Okay. I'm a big swearer.
I know. Within the first 20 seconds, you said, it's okay. That's fine, Mark. I love my editor. Thank you for blurring it out. Hopefully. No.
Thank you.
It's such a natural thing because the only word that we can't say really on here is one of my favorite swear words is the C word.
Oh, I love that one.
Oh my God. I don't use it in a negative context mostly. It's like, it's just so sharp and like such a beautiful adjective. You know?
Yeah, that's a very negative context.
Yeah. So anyways, so you've been on FetLife for some good time, right?
Yeah.
And you've been in the kink world, and you got into the kink world in a very interesting way.
Yeah. I did.
Because you started off with being in a vanilla monogamous relationship.
Yeah, I've always been in vanilla and monogamous relationships for my whole life, and I was married previous to my current relationship. I was married for 10 years, and it was very vanilla, very monogamous, and it was like totally like a deadbed relationship. Like it was just, it wasn't there, and I think I tried to force things for too long and probably stayed in it for too long. But I actually convinced myself I was asexual in that relationship, and my partner. We went to therapy and everything, and I was trying to convince him to go elsewhere and find other women because I didn't want to have that kind of relationship with him. And I feel really guilty about that now. But I think what it was I was trying to like preserve, my family structure for my kids. And I didn't want to admit that I needed things that I didn't want with that person. So yeah, I just kind of I shut it off. Like we laugh about it a lot, my current partner and I, because I used to not even be able to watch, like if someone was kissing on TV, I would leave the room. Like if my friends were talking about sex, I would leave the conversation, leave the room, get embarrassed, get uncomfortable, because I just had to like shut it down so much and close myself off in that area.
Wow. That's a big thing to give up, especially in a marriage.
In that relationship at all. Like nothing. Never had a sex toy, like nothing. I know. I wasted so much time.
Wow, I think I got my first toy when I was like, oh, I think I stole like a mini bullet from like Spencer's. Like they were like they had like the like even at gas stations, they don't do it anymore, thank goodness. But they would have like those like plastic containers. They could just grab one and go. And I'm
Yeah.
like 13 years old, just like, yeah, that's so great. But it's terrible. I think everyone should have toys.
Teenager, and I had like from like London Drugs, I got this little like massage claw, and it had like the 3 claws or whatever. And I think I even got it for Christmas or something. It's for your feet. And I used to go to town with that thing when I was a kid. I mean, maybe I think it was like 10, 11, but like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even like gaming controllers, like you see it all the time now that like, because they've upped the vibration on gaming controllers so much for this reason, because we all know we've definitely all had that moment. If you haven't, go ahead and try it.
So to try still too. I think people are shocked by that with me because I talk a lot and I'm loud. I'm a real whore, but like,
welcome to the club. I love it.
I haven't done it. Yeah.
But now you have toys.
Now I have so many toys. I have like too many toys to fit in the drawer, and I use most of them on a weekly basis.
But good for you. You deserve it. After that long.
Yes, I do. You do. Like maybe 4 or 5 times a day at least now. And like we've been together like 3 years. It happened most of the time. Of course, we have kids, so once in a while that's not. But most of the time, it's about that. And I feel like I'm just like making up for lost time. Like I'm like I have like this hunger that is like 10 years worth of suppression. I feel.
Yeah, you got to make up for that time, absolutely. Because it's funny that you guys didn't even meet on like something kinky.
No, we met on Bumble and we got into kink together. Like
shout out to Bumble for making love stories happen. Please sponsor this podcast. That'd be great.
Okay. It was like neither of us wanted a relationship. Neither of us wanted like anything really, and we just kind of like clicked. Like it was just like we both kind of tried to fight it for a long time, and now we have like a blended family. We live together. It's just like and we still do whatever the fuck we want to do. So it's nice.
What are some like fun like kinky things that you've like gone on this adventure with your partner that you like never thought you'd ever do before?
So many. So like I used to tell everyone, like if somebody would ask me about, so the biggest one is probably group sex, really, because that's how it started for us, was like that was something we both really wanted to try. And that was probably like how we met a lot of kinky people and ended up in kink. I had never had a threesome before. I had never had group sex. And when I was younger, like whenever a guy would ask me, like, no, I'm just like, I'm a selfish lover and I want it all to myself. And I think I was just very insecure. I didn't understand. And I think now in this relationship, I feel safe. I feel comfortable. So we were able to have our first threesome, and it was actually with the person he dated before me. So my friends were like, wow. Like he's trying to play you. And I was like, no, I trust this person. He had a partner that he had previously dated who is also gay, mostly gay. And he was like, she would love you. Like you guys would hit it off. And I was like, I trust this. So I met her. And like within 5 minutes, we were like all over each other. And we just went home and had like the craziest sex. Probably the best sex of my entire life was that threesome. It was insane. We went on vacations together. We're like, she's still like a big part of our life. She met somebody and kind of became monogamous with them. But yeah, she's still like a huge part of our life. We talk to her all the time and we spend a lot of time with her. And it opened the door for a lot. And then beyond that, we just started doing it and it became a thing. Like, had a lot of group sex.
That's not, I mean, like, I'm very open about my group sex. I host my own gangbangs here. Yeah. And it took me a long time. I had gone through a lot of vanilla monogamous relationships, and it wasn't until I met my husband now of 7 years, because we met off FetLife, and he kind of opened the door for me too, because I was the same. I was very insecure and, got jealous a lot, but like seeing how much fun we have together, it's like, yes, we could do this. This is great. Like,
and the world of like compersion is like so amazing. Like all the fears that I had before the first time I did it, I feel like are all the things that I enjoy about it now. Like I remember having this whole like freak out right before the first threesome happened. And I was like, but what if you guys like get into it and I don't know where to go and nobody's like, hey, Lo, come here. You know what I mean? Like, I was so worried that I was going to feel like left out. And now, like, one of my favorite things to do in threesomes is to like have a cigarette on the deck and like watch it through the window. I'm like, please, doctor, I want to watch it. It's so good. Like, I just love watching. Like, I feel proud. I'm like, ooh, that's my man. Like, give it to her, baby. I love it.
He just fucks good. Like he looks like he's pumping it real hard.
Puts it down. I'm not going to lie. Many satisfied customers will tell you so. And so do I. He always jokes like we have this video like where we call him Coach because it came from like our threesomes with this person I was talking about, and how he would always be like sitting there watching us for a bit and being like, oh, go baby, you killing that pussy. Like he's like you eat pussy better than I do. Like, I swear to God. He's like, and I'm good at it, but like, I was like, that's fair. But that was also like my first, I had never really had sex with a woman even. And I've always been not straight. Like I would have said I was straight adjacent before this relationship. And now I am very comfortable saying I'm queer. Like most of my interests beyond my partner are with women. And I think that's been like, I was saying to him the other day, I'm like, this is the most I've ever been into a guy. And it's the gayest I've ever been in my life. Like, it is so weird. It's such a weird dynamic, and he's so encouraging. So it's really cool because I've gotten to experience so many things, and the ability to have all of these relationships and get to know people on such a level. And I see like friendship and love and everything differently now, because I see, like, I have friends who I have fucked or would fuck or whatever, but I don't see it like that. Like, it's just like, if that's what we want out of it, that's what we want out of it. This time things are very fluid. Like, it can come and go. And like, there's no, like, just because we had sex, like now our friendship has to be like, there's ways around that stuff, and like ways to be safe with your friends, your partners, your lovers, to like maintain like the integrity of the relationship, and still everybody gets what they want out of it.
Yeah, because it is definitely hard when some people that you play with, they have a hard time kind of like disassociating a sexual relationship with something romantic.
Yes, we have like, for me, I try to like get to that before anything happens. Like, we don't really like hook up with anybody who we haven't already like been on a date with, asked a bunch of questions to. For me personally, it makes me feel safe. Like, I want to know like what is your experience in non-monogamy? What is your experience in kink? What are your limits? What are you comfortable with? What do you like? What do you desire? What do you want out of the relationship with me or with my partner? And then if those things don't align, it's probably not a good idea to go down that road anyways, because when you try to fit a peg into a square peg in a round hole, so.
Yeah, because there's this very much thing when someone, especially like just online, even like you say, oh, we're in a polyamorous relationship, that everyone very much assumes so many things that are not true.
Yeah. I feel like I think we were talking about that before, but I feel like a lot of people assume with polyamory, and I'm kind of, I don't like certain like blanket terms. I call myself open or ethically non-monogamous, because I feel like that leaves the door open for a lot of different things and a lot of different dynamics. Not all the time am I looking for love with other partners, so I don't want to mislead anybody. I think that a lot of people that I've come in contact with in like my effort to date outside of my relationship have a kind of inherent belief, even if they consider themselves polyamorous or open, they kind of feel like if you're in that situation, there's something wrong with your relationship and you're looking for an out. And so they expect that if they get to a certain level with you, you will ditch the metamor, the primary, the whatever partner you, or even just the other partners that you have. Like, and me and Coach call it poly till you find the one. And I feel like a lot of people do this. They don't want to say that they're just single and sleeping around. So they call themselves polyamorous. They haven't done any of the work. They don't know any of the terms. They don't understand the like basics of like caring for multiple partners and how that actually works, and the time constraints and the dynamics that are so important for it to be safe. And they just call it that because they don't want to say, I'm single and I'm sleeping around. And then so they get into these little relationships and they call it that. And then the minute they find somebody that they're really into, they dump everyone else. And I just feel like that's so hurtful. And I don't ever want to be that person. So I kind of stay away from specifics of like titles. I don't know, like it just, I found that a lot. And I've actually had a real hard time with like dating solo. And so his coach, like a lot of times he's been stood up a few times by people who were like uncomfortable when they realized like how much he loves me. Like he's actually loves me as a friend, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh shit, you actually really like her. So I don't know if I'm down for this now. And it's like, what a waste of time. Like we are very clear on our profiles. Like I have a partner, not changing that, like deeply in love with them. And like, my opinion is that love is boundless. And that's why I'm here. It's not because I want to focus my love elsewhere. You know, it's because I think it's forever. It can go on. Like it's endless. So
yeah, it's a very hard thing when, you know, you tell people that you're open to other relationships and they, you know, try to take it a step farther. Like just because I'm looking for other people doesn't mean I'm leaving my main partner. Like I love my husband. He is my rock, my whole life. And for us, we started swinging. We started off with that about 3 years ago. And that was very interesting because there were some people who were like, hey, we swing together, like, and that's pretty much it. We're not looking for any relationships. And there were some couples that wanted to take it further. We're like, we discussed it with these couples, like, hey, we're just here to play. And they said that they were cool, but somehow their communication got a little fuzzy and they started having interests for us individually. And we were like,
I felt that too. Or there's like an imbalance where one partner likes one of the other partners more, and the other one of the things that we found with swapping and swinging especially is like a lot of times like one of us is attracted but the other one is not to the other partner. So that is really hard. And I honestly, I feel like, don't kill me for saying this, but I feel like there are so many hot women with dudes who are just like, and I'm not into it. I'm sorry. Maybe that's super mean, but like
I'm the same way. There's sometimes like I'll hook up with a couple just to make my husband happy. I'm sorry if one of you couples thinks it's you, but it's just the reality. And not everyone mixes well. Like it was like probably like a year ago that we hooked up with a couple, and man, that chick was hot as fuck, but the guy just couldn't do it. Like there was nothing gonna happen. Like he was nice, but when people say that they're open to swinging and stuff, and then they like also like after like, by the way, like this is our first time, I'm like, don't do that to me.
That's one of the first questions I ask is, do you have experience? I don't screw with newbies personally, because I feel like there's a power imbalance there. Like I feel like I've done a lot of research, and if somebody is just trying to figure it out, that's a dangerous situation for me. Because if you don't know your boundaries and you don't know your capabilities and you don't know what you want, there's a good chance I'm sure about what I want, and there's a good chance that could be dangerous for both of us.
Right.
Especially if you're not comfortable talking about it. So for me, that's one of the things that I ask on the first date always, is we have a date that is not going to lead to sex. And it's always like, how long have you been doing this? What do you like? What are your needs? What are your boundaries? Like, and what do you expect afterwards? You know what I mean? So I think that those are really important questions to ask for everybody to be safe.
Yeah, we learned that very early on in our swinging relationship, that we'd rather meet the people somewhere out in public to really get to know them, not do any play, but if the vibe's there, then we'll do it. Because there's so many, not even just like younger people, like there's some people who are like, you know, even in like their 60s are just getting into swinging, wanting to like, you know, hook up with us. And we're like, listen, we are not newbies. We know exactly what we want. And if you're just starting out, we're not the couple. Like we'll get to know you, but get some experience underneath your belt before you hit up someone like us. Because we've been in the lifestyle for our whole lives, you know?
Yeah. I think there's some good red flags for that even before meeting people. One of them that I've noticed is if both partners are not on the profile. So if somebody doesn't link their partner's profile, or if it's a couple's profile and only has one person's photos, absolutely not going to happen. Or if you start a conversation with them and one of the couple is not answering. Like, say you have a group chat. We always do a group chat too before the date.
Right.
If one of them is not talking at all, red flag. I'm sure this can be for any reason, but for me, I'm not going to go there because it makes me feel like you're not engaged, you're not comfortable, and maybe the other person is pushing harder, and I don't want to be a part of that dynamic. So, yeah.
It's a shame how like normal that is, because there's even like profiles where like it's like, oh, like the female pictures, but it's the guy talking, and it's like
this makes me so mad. I get messages all the time from women, and I'm sure it's actually the dude, but it's the woman's pictures. It says it's a couple's account, and the woman will message me like some like looking for third, you down?
woof.
And I'm like, first of all, you didn't even tell me your name. Like, if you're going to slide into my DMs, please have read my bio, understand, like, it says right at the top of my bio, don't DM me sexually. Like, and I actually revoke consent from anybody who just says, hey. Like, you're only going to say, hey, you don't actually care about getting to know me. Like, so you sent me a message because you want me to come up with the conversation? Like, but I find a lot of times women go out and it's like they're unicorn hunting for their man to make him happy. And that for me is like really like a no-go. Like, and I get it a lot, like a lot of women being like, oh, hey girl, I think you're so cool and we should hang out and da-da-da-da-da. And then like, I'm like, oh, thanks. And I start talking to them a little bit and they're like, you know, me and my man would really like to da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, okay, so why don't you both, you have no pictures of him. Like, why are you as a woman assuming that I want to bang your dude? And I don't even he looks like, what do you think? Like, I don't even know anything about him. There's no information about him. There's no picture about him. There's no link to his personal profile. So you are looking at me like I am just supposed to be like, I don't know, a glory hole. Like, and that's fine if that's what you're into, but it's clearly stated on my profile that that's not what I'm into.
You have a pretty direct profile, so and people don't do that. They don't read them anymore, because if something like how I saw you the last time, you were on Kinky and Popular page, and people will just see that and interact with that. They won't read profiles. They'll just go, oh, she does this, so she must be down to do whatever I want to do. And it's like, no, it's really we take our time and effort to fill out these profiles for a reason.
And I'm on Kinky and Popular for writings too. And generally their writings about hate men. Yeah. And then men will message me and be like, oh, babe, liked your rating. You're so hot. Want to fuck? And I'm like, did you read it though, bud? Or did you just see the little picture at the top and you're like, I want to bang her? Like, it's so offensive.
It's really sad, because FetLife back in the day when it first started, I got onto it like I've been on, I think, like 10 years now, and it's changed so much. It wasn't like that before, and I know that the team, John Backer and his team are really working hard to fix all these things, because it feels like not as comforting. Like, this was our kinky Facebook,
It's not right now. It's not safe. Like, the way that it is like it kind of, some of the rules protect abusers over victims. And I feel like that's kind of like a really unfair, like women have, like, not just women, anybody who's not men have no way to like let each other know who's unsafe. Like, you're not allowed to name if somebody is even charged with assaulting you and like does jail time for it, you can't even talk about it, or you'll be punished. So that's one rule that I would love to see changed. I'm really grateful for FetLife because I built an amazing community there and met a lot of really cool people. But that one thing is very frustrating.
I wanted to ask, because a lot of, these content creators that are from OnlyFans get a lot of like flack for it. Do you ever get like any hate for it?
I took my OnlyFans off of my profile because they shadow banned me. So the minute that I took it off, I went up by like, I don't know, like 6,000 followers in like a week. Like, it was, and I started being on KNP every day. It was when I removed my OnlyFans link, and that was it. And I never even posted about OnlyFans, to be honest. Like, I just had it there in case people want to support me, which I feel like is fair. Just like anybody else can list their Etsy business or put up their kink merch that they make, or they make whips. What's the difference? Like, that's my job. That's what I'm doing. Sure, okay, you don't like it. You don't have to pay me. You don't have to go to my OnlyFans. You don't have to click on the link. But hating me just because I have a link at the bottom of my page, like literally everyone else who's there, is beyond ridiculous to me. And I feel like creating this idea that like what it really comes from is patriarchy. It's that men don't like women or non-men profiting off of their own bodies. Men want to benefit from that. They want to profit from it. They would rather pay Pornhub or get it for free from someone who stole it. They don't care. They don't care. They would rather do that than pay a woman or a non-man to do what they want to do with their own body and take control of it. And to me, that's a really big issue. Like, we need to really examine, like, if somebody is doing something like that, that's very vulnerable. It can be a long journey to be comfortable with that. There's a lot of stigma that comes with it. There's a lot of judgment. Lots of people, are ostracized from their families for doing that kind of stuff and suffer real life consequences. And then for you to go and just look up some pirated porn of this person and they are getting 0 and they've been doxxed and abused and talked to in certain ways. Like when we go on FetLife, it's like we get talked to every day in a certain type of way, just based on that. And it's like, but then you don't want to pay. I'm putting up with all of this to make something to make you come, to make you happy, to fulfill your fantasies. I'm dispensing your fantasies at your freaking desk, and you don't want to pay me for it. It's frustrating.
It is. I mean, I've been dealing with it. I started out actually going from being a cam girl to FetLife, and it was a weird transition, and doing like weird things because I do like panty sales.
Yeah.
And I just recently the other day got the worst comment I've ever gotten from someone. I won't name them, but they ripped me apart. And the funny thing was with that is that they've actually bought in my content in panties. And I was like,
they have.
Oh.
No one is more angry at you than a man who can't have you.
Yeah.
Every time. It's the men who consume these things. Last week there was a post going on by a man who posted, and it was running around FetLife, and it was about how OnlyFans is ruining FetLife. It is absolutely, these women have daddy issues and they're damaged and traumatized. The dude who wrote it has an OnlyFans and a Pornhub page, which he does with his girlfriend. But it's different for him because he's profiting off of her pussy.
So I'll tell you why he did that writing is because it'll get traffic to his profile and then they'll see all of that. And it's a weird mind manipulative thing that people do. Because I've talked about this before, and I admit that I'm a sucker for this too because I do it all the time. These one-liners that like people do writings on, I do it all the time. I'm sorry, but like I'm a content creator too. I'm trying to get traffic to my profile, and it's sometimes these. It's sadly that it's most males, but I was looking at statistics this morning of FetLife that I think it was like 58% it was 62% of the users on FetLife are males, which cool. Love you guys for the most part.
Yeah.
But then they take this egotistical asshole of their dick and just run off of and just say the meanest things. But what I think I've learned from that is because now we're giving them attention. We've seen them, and so I've learned to just disregard it because I used to be like, I remember I did this like 6 years ago. Someone did a writing. This guy was a douche, just calling out people, all of his like female content creators, and it was like right when OF started, I think. And I commented on it, and he acknowledged it, and it was a thread, and I was like, I fucked up on that. Like, there is no point in recognizing those kind of people. Yeah. And just try to make sure to like look at the beauty of it because there's so many positive things about FetLife and the kink community itself and all these groups and all these like things that like, make us feel welcome and safe at home, like
changed my life. Like FetLife has changed I did not expect to have this kind of reception there. I kind of just went on there and was looking to like, I don't know. Yeah. Look at other porn and see other people, and there was people that I knew that were already on there, and I actually haven't written in years, like probably 15 years, and I started writing again from FetLife. Like, it's been so cathartic for me to be able to say out loud in a space, and I get a lot of hate for it too, don't get me wrong, but I've learned to kind of tune it out, or just like I like to eviscerate these men when they comment on my shit. That's kind of my thing.
Yeah. I'm the same.
Seen me before. That's kind of my shtick. But I don't let it really get to me for the most part. But it has been so cathartic because I've had a space to share about some really serious things, some stuff that has happened in my life that happens to, lots of people. And it's been received in such a way that it's made me feel like, I don't know, it's just inspired me even more to keep sharing those things and to keep writing. And it's like every day I wake up now and I have my coffee and I write, and it's so good for my soul. Like it's so I'm really, really grateful for like the friends that I've made. Like my best friends now, everyone I hang out with is from Fat Life. I don't have regular like vanilla friends anymore because I can't be honest about my life with them. And when I started this relationship with my partner, I actually lost a lot of friends because they were like, oh, like no woman wants to do that. He must be terrible or manipulating you. And I'm like, actually, this shit is my idea. Like,
your partner is very loving. Like I can see the love through you guys' profiles that like you guys are so amazing, and that's the beauty of something like that. The fact that you've gone from like Bumble to Field to Fet Life like blows my mind, to go for so vanilla to this kinky website.
Yeah. I think I was always like a whore at heart, though. Like when I was younger, before I got married, I slept around a lot. Like I definitely have always been somebody who is like very engaged in sex and sexuality. And I did check out Fat Life when I was like 19, but I didn't know how to use it. I think I created a profile and then never opened it again until I started up this one. And I had been doing OnlyFans for like a year before I started Fet, though. So I'd already been doing like OnlyFans for quite a while.
Wow. But as long as Fet Life is treating you well, because I know that, like I said, they're trying to make some changes and whatnot to, help the community out, because it is such a beautiful place. Like the fact that like people are still being like, what's Fet Life? I'm like, I don't know how you're not on it, because it literally is the number one like kink community like website. And especially during these times, like dating is hard.
So hard.
Like I tried Bumble and Field and like even like Hinge, and like it feels weird. But to go on Fet Life, where like I already have like a huge profile, and my pussy is out.
Yeah. You know everything about me when you see me.
Right.
Like if you read my profile, you're gonna know like most of the big important things, and if you look at my pictures, you're gonna get a vibe for me. So
I can't imagine like having a vanilla date. That'd be so weird.
Yeah, like I don't know. I haven't been on a date that wasn't with my partner in a long time, like with other people, but like including my partner. I haven't made it to a date solo with a man yet.
It was definitely hard. I started dating guys separately from myself. My current boyfriend, he's not part of mine and my husband, but him and I are separate. And I started dating him and like probably like 6 months ago. And then it didn't work out because he was still dealing with things with his ex. So then I started dating another guy. And that guy, like you were talking about earlier, like even though I said, hey, I have my husband, but I'm open to dating you, he got too territorial and was trying to like steal me and stuff.
That's what happens to me. I feel like when I say like, okay, here's my.
Well, listen, look, we're fucking hot, all right?
Oh. It shouldn't be that hard, but my experience is that like most men are so trash, and that's why it's not me. Nothing is me. I'm perfect.
Exactly. Yes, you are.
It can't be me. Am I the drama? I the drama?
We're the drama. Yes.
The drama. Oh no.
Oops. Sorry.
Just that life every morning, dropping bombs and waiting for the explosion.
Right, pretty much. And it's just so hard to like deal with that kind of stuff, because making yourself so open to such a possible relationship is terrifying, because I know that I have my husband, and he always comes home to me, I always come home to him, we always go to bed together, but to like put yourself out there for another whoever is a lot.
It's scary.
Yeah,
it's scary. I feel like I've like gotten less interested in men from Fat Life, though. A lot less.
Let me tell you, the guy who I'm dating right now, who I'm back with, that I broke up with, he was from Fet Life. He got off of it because he just wanted to keep it inclusive with us, and it's amazing. So don't give up hope. I love you so much, hon. I know he's listening.
Like, kind of aware person. Like, I never speak in absolutes because, well, that was an absolute. But other than that, I was having this conversation with my partner today about how, like, you have to be so careful, especially like when people's eyes are on you too, about how you operate and who you choose to bring in and out of your life, in your circle as friends or as lovers or more, whatever. But I don't want to ever be like, the right person can show up anywhere at any time. So I'm not closed off to anything. I'm not closed off to anybody, anything. But I will say the bar is so high at this point because of my partner that most people cannot reach it, I think. So I don't want to I don't like to waste my time with people who are not being authentic for me.
Mm-hmm. How long have you and your partner been together?
Almost 3 years in September.
Wow, cute.
And now, we just kind of like last year we moved in together and we both have kids. So now we have 3 kids together in the same house. And then we for the first year we were together, we only saw each other like once a week because we have different schedules with our kids and we didn't want to push things too fast. So it was a lot of like, we would meet up once a week and he would sleep over for like the whole, like just a little more than 24 hours. And we would just like have sex the whole time. Like we just like I got so many complaints from everybody, and like the people in my apartment complex like hate us, I think. Like, and we were in the house, windows closed, like in my own home, but we got like anonymous letters and we had people knock on the door. I'm a loud one.
Yeah, that's
all aspects of my life.
Yeah, they're just a little jealous, They're like, damn, that sounds good. I don't want to hear this anymore. Either that or go jerk off. Like, good for you. You get that's your free content, all right?
Put on some music. You're getting what a lot of people want to pay for.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you're doing something in your home, I just expect to hear other people when you're living in housing that borders on other people's. But at that time, we were having a lot of very vigorous sex. So I think that we were a little loud.
That's okay. I can imagine. I was listening to a podcast earlier, and one of the hosts was talking about how he watches porn, but with no sound. And I guess so does Kanye West. I was like, how do you get off then?
Why? The best part is the sound. I watch porn all the time and I put the phone down and don't look at it. I just want to hear it.
Yeah. I love a good storyline behind it.
That's so weird. I can't imagine watching it if I can't watch it with the noise, I'm not going to watch it. There's no point for me.
Yeah. I want to hear those moans. Like I love, I watch a lot of like storyline ones where there's like a build up because I love foreplay.
Yeah.
And I'll get like 5 minutes into a porn and I haven't even had sex yet and I'm already done. I'm like, fuck. I'll just save it for later.
I am so quick with that, like too. Like I never make it through, but I go straight to like, I like gangbang porn and like a lot of like really like, the more aggressive stuff. Maybe because I didn't look at it for so long and I'm kind of like enthralled with like what's out there. Like I'm just like, it's almost still new to me. Like there's always still stuff where I'm like, wow. Like,
yeah, I mean, you missed out on cake farts, so.
Cake farts?
Yeah, so I'm sure there's some people still doing it, but there was a time in porn where people were jerking off. And congrats to whoever you are. I don't kink shame, but there's porn out there where women are farting on cakes.
It's like that woman from 90 Day Fiance who sold her fart in a jar for how much money? Get me that job. Like somebody call me up. If you got like 50 grand, give me a call. I have things to pay for.
There's so many weird things because that means that you missed out on like 2 girls, 1 cup.
I did. Actually, that happened when I was in high school.
Oh, okay.
And I never watched it. Even in high school, I had no interest. Like it made me uncomfortable.
You've got to make Coach make you watch it. That is a necessity. If you're going to keep watching porn, don't watch it. Don't please. Don't. It's crazy to think that came out like 20 years ago.
Found some of that stuff, like not quite my thing. Again, not kink shaming, but for me, it's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's not everyone's cup of tea. Like the fact that like I was really against water sports.
Yeah.
Until I met my husband, and the fact that I don't necessarily watch it, but I do it with him.
Yeah. I would like coach piss all over me. We have not done that yet, but I would 100%.
You should definitely do it. Yeah.
I was my husband on our honeymoon, and then we never had sex again. So maybe that's like the bad omen for me. I don't know. But
what are some like the weirdest like kinks that you've like discovered, in your lifestyle?
My favorite is CNC. And we've done like some really cool scenes. We did one that there's like a whole series on my FetLife page. It's called Scenes from a Nightmare. And it's like a break-in one. That was so fun. There was like knife play and lots of cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
And the best one though was like, because honestly, Coach was worried about it. Like he was like, I'm scared, like for so many reasons that like, if I break it, that we didn't live together. If I break into your house, your neighbors don't know me. If I put on a ski mask before I walk in and walk into your house, like what are people going to think first of all? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, that's so fair. That's so fair. So we talked a lot about it. He also was like, really didn't want to hurt me, didn't want to bring up any kind of like previous trauma, and wanted to be like very careful about it. And he wasn't sure how far he wanted to go with being like violent or aggressive in that way. So we had a lot of discussions about it. We probably talked about it for like a year before it happened. Last year, I went on a trip to see my friend in Oregon. And he had a key to my house, and we had talked about the possibility, like that he was allowed to be in my house. And I had kind of given him blanket consent like months before. If you ever want to break in, it's okay. I'm ready. I trust you. Like, I want it to be a surprise. So I came back from this trip, and he had texted me like, I'm having a terrible day. I'll come see you tomorrow. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I had the worst day. I can't make it over there tonight. So I walk in the door. I put down my bags. And I know. So I put down my bags. I walk in the door and I say, "Oh, hi," to my cat. And I'm like just hanging up my jacket, and he comes out from the living room. There's a little wall between the living room and the door. He comes out in zero clothing, hard dick, and a bandana over his face. And he was like waiting for me, and he had all my toys, my whips, my crops, everything like laid out on the bed. And he just like came around the corner and he grabbed me by the throat and pushed me up against the door. So my feet were dangling, and was like, "Don't fucking scream or I'll kill you." And it was the hottest thing. Like it was
wet.
The hottest thing, but this is probably the hottest thing that ever happened to me. So it went on for like 2 hours. He took me to my bedroom. He hog-tied me on the bed. He pretended that he was robbing me. He told me he had been watching me, stalking me for months. He wanted to know where. He ransacked the house looking for jewelry and money. And then like he told me like if he didn't find anything, he was going to come back and take it out on my pussy. And he did. And it was very good. I liked it a lot. So that's I know, right? It was so good. It was so
Here's the shitty thing right now is that I know that my husband doesn't listen to my podcast. I want him to listen to just that part. I'm just going to make a clip out of it. It's going to make a short. I'm going to send that story to him.
I love that.
Actually, if you could do that in a writing.
I should do a writing of that, actually. That's a good idea. Maybe I will make a writing about it. Thank you for the tip. But yeah, it's funny. That was my favorite for sure. Like that experience was so cool. And if you want to show, you can also show your husband the little pictures of the other CNC set I did, because it's kind of similar. So there's like almost like a storyboard there.
It's been a long time since I've been immobilized by something like that. I don't know what to do. I forgot that I was on a podcast. I was shooting a podcast.
I'm so flattered.
I'm sweating.
A round of applause because he did an amazing job.
Like that,
coach.
The fact that like he was so like so smart, like setting that all up.
Yeah.
And the fact that like, doing CNC plays, like it can be dangerous, but the fact that you guys did that so safely.
And we waited we were together for like over a year when this happened. Like, I am a big believer that CNC should not be done with just a random play partner. That's up to everybody to decide. But I personally believe if you're doing like real long scenes of CNC or giving somebody a key to your house, or there's, I think that you really need to know that person, because not only is it dangerous for you as the victim, the person doing it is risking, like, they could be charged with something if you change your mind. Right. If you decide you're not comfortable, you haven't talked it through, something goes too far, whatever, if you have the right to say no, you need to make sure you have a safe word. You need to make sure the person that you're with knows you and your body responses and your cues, because sometimes when you are triggered in trauma, you become unable to say the words you need to say. So you need to have a partner who knows your body, who knows what is happening and when it's not cool anymore. So I think that for me, that was really important. And it was even, honestly, I think it was even more so important for him, because he's kind of, I don't know. I guess everybody's risking something, but I feel like if things were to go wrong, that's his life on the line. You know what I mean? So I just think that stuff is not to be entered into lightly. I think it takes a good deal of like conversation, understanding, and like just over communication about every aspect of it.
Communication is key in any scene, like scenario, whatnot, when it comes to something like that, because sorry that not all cops are kinky. I know some of us have masturbated to the idea of a cop fucking us and whatnot, but the majority of them would walk into something like that and be like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
And like, I've gotten to the point where I've written out like contracts with people. So like, if that happens, the cops show up, hey, no, we actually have like, and it's, it's just for our safety and for everyone else's safety, whether it's whoever's doing the scene or everyone else on the roll. Because I know for sure my neighbor, I love her to death. I know she knows what I do, but if she walked in on some of the things that I was doing, she'd be like, I got to call the cops on you, Ginger. I'm like, no. That's fine.
I agree. I've done stuff that I think that, like, in the privacy of my own home is very consensual with but if somebody were to see that, and honestly, like, I'm in an interracial relationship, and I think that there's an aspect of that makes it even more unsafe for him. So it's very important to be like mindful of certain dynamics and like what would happen if things were to go awry. So you don't just want to plan your scene, you want to plan for what happens after and what happens if something goes wrong. It's really, really, really important when doing CNC. I feel
like Coach gives you really good aftercare.
I also give Coach aftercare. I think dogs love too. Like, we have good aftercare. Like that time when I was going to mention that time when we did the CNC, he also stocked my fridge with all my favorite drinks. So when we were done, I went to the fridge and I had like my favorite iced tea was in there and a Coke Zero because I had been away and there was nothing in my fridge. Just like little things like that, and then after, like, he lays with me, he gives me like little booty rubs, and like he holds me every night and gives me like forehead kisses and like strokes my forehead till I fall asleep. Like, he's so good at aftercare. It's amazing. And I'm same with him. Like, I take him sometimes and I'm like, come lay with me. Let me like pet your head and rub your back and scratch your back.
You have some beautiful pillows. So I
do.
No, I was talking about your chest, but all right.
I do.
I'm wearing two bras right now just to try and match you. Okay.
I wore one underneath because this is see-through and I didn't know if I could show my nipples.
Yeah. Can't show your nipples on YouTube. No. YouTube doesn't look good. Well, is there anything else you want to share before we wrap this up? Because my goodness, I could talk to you for hours. I love how loquacious you are. I already told you that.
So much fun. I can't really think. I'm like, what else do I want to say? I feel like we covered everything. But if there's anything else you want to ask me, I'm an open book.
I'm just still worried about you taking so long to watch porn. I'm going to send you so many fucking links.
Send me some links. Send me your favorite stuff. Yeah. I'm
just going to send you weird shit. Like girls like getting like golf balls putted into their assholes.
You know what I saw on Fet that was so wild was like the Sharpie challenge thing like a year ago. That was so weird. Like, I'm like, why Sharpies though? Like, it was like how many Sharpies you could fit in your puss. Like, that is a wild and wonderful place, y'all. Every everybody needs to spend a day on Fet, just like understanding that you're going to see wild stuff, but seeing like the things that people do that I would never even think to do, and things that I have learned are kinks for me or interests for me that I never even knew existed before is wild. So thank you, Fet.
We love you, FetLife. Thank you so much. You're an incredible site. And I want to thank you, Lo, for coming on the Ugly Couch podcast. And you're such a blast. It's such a like inspiration. And I'm so thankful that you like came on.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here.